Meghan and Harry's new book only confirms they're the world's most tone-deaf, hypocritical, narcissistic, deluded, whiny brats, and that most of the stories the lying press wrote about them were 100% true. "Where's the positivity?" moans Prince Harry. "Why is everyone so miserable and angry?" I regret to say I laughed out loud when I read that line from the new book Finding Freedom, which claims to be the real story about why Harry and his wife Meghan quit the royals in Britain. It's hard to think of anyone in public life right now more relentlessly miserable, angry and negative than the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. Barely a week goes by without them whining about something or suing people. They've become serial victims, intent on painting themselves as the most hard done by people on God's earth. Yet the more they complain, as the rest of the world struggles with the very real hell of the worst pandemic for 100 years, the more they expose themselves as a pair of appallingly bitter, staggeringly self-obsessed, utterly deluded, and woefully tone-deaf laughingstocks. The title of the book alone has made me shake my head ever since it was announced. It is obviously derived from Nelson Mandela's autobiography Long Walk to Freedom, which is one of the most powerful books ever written about regaining liberty. But any comparison between Mandela and the Sussexes is frankly a sick joke. For 18 of his 27 years behind bars, South Africa's most iconic leader was housed in an 8 feet by 7 feet concrete cell on Robben Island with only a straw mat to sleep on. He had an iron bucket for a toilet, thin blankets for his bed, and allowed one visitor a year. He couldn't even attend the funerals of his mother and son. Every day, Mandela would work in a lime quarry, breaking stones as armed guards watched over him. So, the freedom he experienced when he finally got out of prison was a very real and visceral one. Harry and Meghan's experience in captivity has been slightly less oppressive. After a sumptuous wedding that was rapturously received around the world, they lived in a palatial taxpayer-funded royal home, were waited on by teams of servants, flew around in private jets, and attended glitzy movie premieres where they were cheered by screaming fans. But it wasn't enough. Stung by a series of perceived slights by other members of the royal family and palace courtiers, and repeated media criticism of hypocrisy based on their undeniably hypocritical behavior, they began to see this gilded life of unimaginable luxury and privilege as a prison. In their eyes, they had become Nelson Mandela, the victims of a terrible miscarriage of justice now trapped in a world of unending misery. So, they broke free, dramatically announcing in early January that they were quitting the royals, and Britain, and heading off for a new life in America where they could be the people they wanted to be and lead the lives they wanted to lead. There was just one problem. Unlike Mandela, who emerged from his very real prison with extraordinary positivity, an astonishing lack of bitterness, and an intense desire to unify not divide, the Sussexes seem even more unhappy now than they were before and intent on causing as much division as possible. This new book, clearly written with their approval and with enough private details to establish that a lot of it came directly from the horses' mouths, was supposed to set the record straight. We would all apparently read it, understand how badly treated they were, and sympathize enormously. In fact, the opposite has happened. The extracts published in various newspapers have only shown us just how pathetically self-pitying Harry and Meghan have become. This was a couple at it all, but threw it away in a massive fit of ego-driven pique. The sheer scale of their narcissism is astonishing, and at the heart of it lies one stunning fact: they genuinely couldn't understand why William and Kate, the future king and queen, got preferential treatment to them. Time after time in the book, this seething resentment re-emerges and it explains everything. For a couple solo down the throne succession cab rank, the Sussexes have delusions of grandeur and importance on a breathtaking scale. They also have no sense of self-awareness. In the book, Harry and Meghan, always so angry at media intrusion into their family's life, have stuck the knife into his family in spectacular fashion. Harry whacks his brother Prince William for being a snob and his father Prince Charles for being thoughtless, while Meghan whacks her sister-in-law Kate, the Duchess of Cambridge, for being cold and insensitive towards her. They repeatedly accuse the whole royal family, presumably including the Queen, of ignoring their desperate plight, despite, as they laughably claim, them single-handedly leading the royals to supposedly unprecedented heights of global popularity. The fact this garbage is being spewed after the Queen, Charles, William and Kate have spent months comforting the British people in remarkably empathetic and impressive fashion during the crisis, is even more grating. The deeply intrusive revelations go on, page after page. Of course, The comical irony of the approved publication of all this setting the record straight private information is that most of it confirms myriad newspaper stories that we were previously assured were media lies. There are other little snippets in the book that blast off the page like bombs. Meghan, we're told, used to tip off the paparazzi about her movements in Toronto where she filmed her TV show Suits. One of them even had her phone number. Oh, and she would leak stories to the press to promote herself. When I read this, I thought immediately of the way she has so heartlessly disowned her father Thomas for naively colluding with the paparazzi to promote himself in the run-up to her wedding. And for her furiously worded lawsuit against unknown paparazzi last week for their alleged intrusion into their Hollywood life. It's clearly one rule for Meghan when it comes to such media-appeasing behavior, another for even her dad. As with so much that surrounds the Duchess's conduct, the hypocrisy is stunning. But what's even more repellent is her totally delusional victimhood. "I gave up my entire life for this family," whines Meghan in the book. No love, you gave up precisely 3 years for this family, then stole away Britain's favorite prince to Hollywood where you're now complaining even more than you were before. As for hostage Harry, he's becoming a tragic figure. It's getting to the stage where his former army mates may want to fly over to Los Angeles to carry out an extraction operation and save him from himself. If this book is supposed to be the pro-Meghan and Harry one, I'd hate to see it hatch a job. They come out of it as the world's most self-centered couple, bleating away about their ghastly lives living in TV star Tyler Perry's $20 million Hollywood mansion, and seemingly oblivious to the fact that hundreds of thousands of people have died from the coronavirus and tens of millions more have lost their jobs. The struggle for much of the planet right now is very, very real. Just as it was for Nelson Mandela for 27 years. Meghan and Harry's only struggle is to work out each day which of their latest borrowed lavish homes 12 bathrooms they want to luxuriate in before they bravely appear on those creepy videos to lecture us all about equality and hardship. I think what most of us would like now is to find freedom from this ridiculous pair's incessantly negative, miserably angry whining. Next news, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle are highly unlikely to join the royals at Balmoral this summer despite an invitation from the Queen, as sources question when or if she will see Archie again, royal expert claims. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle are unlikely to join the royals at Balmoral this summer despite an invitation from the Queen, according to a royal expert. Her Majesty, 94, had been self-isolating in Windsor Castle since March, but is set to travel to Scotland alongside Prince Philip, 99, next month. But while Prince Charles, 71, along with Prince William, 38, and Kate Middleton, 38, and Prince George, 7, Princess Charlotte, 5, Prince Louis, 2, are to join the royal couple for the family holiday, it is believed the Duke, 35, and Duchess of Sussex, 38, won't attend. Writing in the Telegraph, Camilla Tominey explained it was highly unlikely they would journey from Los Angeles to Scotland, writing, "Some are beginning to question when, or indeed if, the Queen and Prince Philip will see Archie, their youngest great-grandchild, again." While Prince Harry and Meghan won't be attending the annual get-together, Camilla detailed how the Cambridges are hoping to travel to the Scottish Highlands for a weekend next month. The family will then return to London to resume something resembling a pre-coronavirus royal diary of engagements in September. Last September the Queen was said to have been disappointed when the Sussexes turned down her invitation to Balmoral. At the time sources close to the couple insisted that the decision should not be seen as a snub. The family were too busy and 4-month-old Archie too young to make the trip, according to their spokeswoman, a decision viewed by some as puzzling. Despite their decision, the couple had taken Archie on holiday to Ibiza and to Sir Elton John's villa in the south of France earlier in the summer. At the time, the Mail on Sunday understood the Queen was hurt and disappointed because she likes to bring her friends and family together for the annual Highland holiday, which is her favorite time of the year. Amid the coronavirus pandemic, reports have suggested the Queen and Prince Philip were keen to get away for their annual holiday, but would remain socially distanced from family, who will stay in separate buildings so the royal couple could stay safe. Although other members of her family will join them for the traditional summer get-together this time they will not be able to get close to the monarch. When they get to the 50,000-acre estate in Aberdeenshire she will not host them in the castle, instead staying in other properties on the grounds. They will be able to meet her for outside activities instead, including walks, horse riding and picnics. The source said a Balmoral bubble of staff numbering some will join the Queen and Philip. They include Vice Admiral Tony Johnston-Burt, Master of the Household, Sir Edward Young, the Queen's Private Secretary, and Paul Wybrew and William Henderson, her pages. Major Nana Kofi Twumasi-Ankra, her equerry, Terry Pindry, her head groom, Angela Kelly, the Queen's personal assistant and her senior dresser, Jackie Newbold, Kelly's PA, and 3 assistant dressers will also join, according to the Sunday Times. The Queen has spent a 12-week break at Balmoral for each of the past 68 years of her reign. Since the coronavirus crisis started, Her Majesty and the Duke of Edinburgh have been in joint isolation at Windsor Castle since the start of lockdown in March. Prince Charles and the Duchess of Cornwall recently moved from Berkeley, on the Balmoral estate, to their London home of Clarence House as they lead the royal family in returning to public engagements after lockdown. The Duke and Duchess of Cambridge remain at Anmore Hall, Norfolk, with their 3 children, Prince George, 7, Princess Charlotte, 5, and Prince Louis, 2.